Hello, children. Today, in medieval history, I will be teaching you about Crusades. If you remember, earlier I had told you that Crusades were holy wars. Crusades were called holy wars because these wars were fought between the Muslims and Christians. And these wars were fought at the end of the 11th century. These crusades or holy wars were also called or not called or referred to wars between the cross and the crescent. The cross and the crescent because these are the religious symbols of the Christians and the Muslims. Now, in these holy wars that were fought, they were fought mainly because of the holy land called Palestine. The Holy Land, Palestine, is sacred for the Christians. And as a result, it is this Holy Land where Jesus Christ was born. And this Holy Land was captured by the Turks in about 1087 AD. Now, Palestine is a holy land for the Christians, but it was captured by the Turks, who were Muslims. With the result, after the Turks captured Palestine, the Christians were denied entry into Palestine. Earlier, the Arabs had also conquered Palestine, but they permitted the Christian pilgrims to visit the Holy Land. Now, with the capture of Palestine, for the Christians, this was a terrible disaster. And it was then that Pope Urban Urban II declared a holy war, declared a holy war to free Palestine from the hands of the Turk. So this holy war was fought to free Palestine from the Turks who were Muslims. And all over Europe, when Pope Urban gave this declaration to get back Palestine from the hands of the Turks, many people with great enthusiasm wanted to take part in this holy war. So many joined the Crusades to fight for the cause of the Holy Land of the Christians. And this was initiated by Pope Urban II. The Christians all over Europe gathered with great zeal to fight this war. And this war was fought for about 200 years. In 200 years, the Christians fought the Christian Crusaders. They fought to get back Palestine from the Turks, but they failed. The Crusaders were unsuccessful in getting back the Holy Land from the Turks. So, this was the failure of the Christians to get back Palestine. Now, even though it was a failure to get back Palestine, but the effects of the Crusades could be felt a lot, because the failure of the Crusades also led to the decline of the medieval ages. With the decline of the medieval ages, it means that the modern age will begin. The other effect of the Crusades were the weakening of the feudal lords. The number of feudal lords decreased, and powerful monarchy kingdoms came up. One advantage of the Crusades was the boost in trade. There were many ships that carried the Crusaders to fight this holy war. And when these ships returned, they took back a lot of goods from the eastern countries. And therefore we see that many European countries that participated in the holy wars began to trade with eastern countries and making contact with traders bought goods from European countries, from India and other countries, and began to grow and prosper. When I say grow, I mean they grew rich. They began to prosper in wealth. With the result, the standard of living in Europe became high. The markets, European markets improved, and various articles of trade like spices, sugar, drugs, carpet, silk were imported. And these commodities became very popular in Western countries. With the development of trade, the banking industries also began to flourish. Where earlier there was a barter system, now in Europe, people began to use currencies in the form of gold, silver, and copper coins. So, the Crusades also increased the spirit of adventure and discovery. Many European countries began to show interest in voyages. So we see Columbus, Vasco da Gama, and others. Their contribution is well known in history for discovering new lands and new continents. The Crusades also resulted in the enrichment of culture, science, maths, literature. So we see the effects of the Crusades, what they were, why they were fought, who was successful in the Crusades Holy War. These holy wars were fought for 200 years, but it had its far-reaching effects in the medieval period.